Welcome to Demo Day for the Google Developer Student Club's 2022 Solution Challenge. Over 2,500 students and 830 teams from around the world took on the mission to use Google technology to solve for one of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Over the last couple of months, the top teams received guidance and resources from Google through training and events, codelabs, and mentoring sessions. And after all that hard work, we've got the top 10 finalists with us live to demo their projects, while judges and experts from Google pick the top 3 global winners. This is months in the making, and I've gotten a bit of a sneak peek. I must tell you, these projects are truly inspiring. These students have come together with teammates from their local Google Developer Student Club chapters at their universities to create some incredible ideas in support of the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Hi everyone, my name is Arman Hezarkhani, and I'm glad to be here as your host today. The GDSC program is near and dear to my heart. I'm joining here today as the CEO and founder of Parthian, but I'm an engineer at heart. My journey started a few years ago, right here, when I interned twice at Google. Those internships were life-changing, and they led to years of work with the teams at Google Cloud, Android, and even GDSC. I'm glad to be back as your host today, as we spend time with these amazing teams. We have an exciting event ahead of us. Here's what's on the agenda. We'll check out the demos from each of the top 10 Solution Challenge teams. You'll have the chance to ask the teams questions live over Slido and YouTube chat, and you'll also get an opportunity to participate in our trivia break. After we've seen all the demos, we'll announce the top 3 winners and the People's Choice Awards. Some of you may be asking, how do I join the Q&A, participate in trivia, and vote for my favorite team? Great question. We'll be using a tool called Slido to help everyone participate and engage with us today. To access Slido on your laptop, phone, or tablet device, scan the QR code you see on the screen or add the text code GDSC22 into slido.com. If you're having trouble accessing Slido, feel free to interact in the YouTube live chat as well. As you chat, please be mindful of the community and keep your comments supportive. To get us started, go into the chat and tell us where you're joining from. I know we have folks from all over the world. As you learn more about each team's solution throughout the event, be sure to cast your vote for the Solution Challenge People's Choice Award, and you can do that right on Slido. Take part in trivia and ask the teams questions. Then, we'll announce everyone's favorite team along with the final top 3 winning teams at the end of Demo Day. We also have a fun piece of swag for each of you today, so stay tuned to claim your Google Developer Profile Badge. With that said, let's get things going. Now, let's welcome our awesome judges. They bring diverse backgrounds and expertise that span product areas and teams like Android, Google Cloud, Firebase, Flutter, and the Google Creative Labs. There's a variety of technical expertise in this group, and we're so thankful to have them here to help choose our 3 winning teams. The judges will each introduce themselves during the live Q&A, where they will ask teams questions to learn more about their projects, the inspiration, and the technology behind it. The judges are so excited to review these 10 outstanding projects from the Solution Challenge. Each project is being judged by the same criteria, which measures the project's impact, use of technology, and more. But most importantly, every project must use at least one Google technology to solve for one or more of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Here are some of the examples of what the students aim to solve for. As you can see here, each team used this framework to form their project ideas while also solving difficult problems in their local and global communities. It's truly inspiring to see how each team has created solutions to tackle the challenging issues we now face as a global community. I want to give a big shout out to all the students who participated and submitted their projects. We are grateful for all the hard work each team has put into Demo Day. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's kick off the demos.
Hi, and welcome to all the students, teams, and viewers joining us here today. I'm really excited to virtually take you to where I am right now in Vietnam to meet with Team GetWage. The application creates an open COVID-19 digital check-in system through an open source IoT solution that pairs with a mobile application and communicates with an embedded system over Bluetooth connection protocol. They have utilized Flutter, Angular, Firebase, and TensorFlow to build a progressive web app on Google Cloud Platform. Let's give a warm welcome to the creators Di, Cao, Hong, and Quang from Hoa Sen University in Vietnam.
In the post-COVID-19, none of us expect the extent by the pandemic. We need to protect ourselves and others, and it's vital to manage and control public check-in data.
We introduced GetWage, an open-source IoT solution, as a COVID-19 digital check-in system. Our main goal is to enable communities to build a low-cost and effective way to support the existing contact tracing solution. In detail, users will interact with the mobile app following World Health Organization COVID guidelines, measuring their body temperatures, health declaration, and the system will automatically detect their face mask. The user information will be available in real time to a web dashboard made by Angular and Firestore.
By leveraging Google technology, it will reduce our development time significantly, and the only thing we need to focus on is our ideas and how to transform those into a practical solution. Moving to sustainable development goal, we focus on good health and well-being as our primary goal. The solution enables communities to build a low-cost and effective way to support the existing contact tracing solution, where those that could be automatic and ensure personal health condition. We receive great feedback from our communities. First, faster than traditional contact tracing. Second, simple to set up and effective during rush hours. Our second goal, partnership, we innovate from prototype into actual 3D printed enclosures, an installation guide to allow young engineers to learn and assemble our product. We believe that it will be our third value for sustainable cities and communities, where we must take steps to respond to secure public health measures beyond the outbreak and set the scene for resilience and recovery in the pandemic.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Stephanie Wong from the Google team and the entire GetWage team to tell us a bit more about their project. Hey, Stephanie.
Hello, Armand. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Where are you calling from?
Well, right now I'm in the East Coast, but typically I'm based out of San Francisco.
Awesome.
Yeah, for everyone here, just a quick intro. I lead up the developer engagement here at Google Cloud, which means I create inspiring developer content to help any developers out there in the world learn about Google Cloud through content like videos, podcasts, tutorials, and blogs. So it's a big honor for me to be here today. And I really enjoyed all of the solutions, especially GetWage. Y'all did such a good job with both the solution and the demonstration video. Now, I do have a couple of questions for you if you want to take a chance to answer them. My first question for you is, it looks like you used a range of different products, including Google Cloud. And so, of course, I have to ask, what Google Cloud products do you use in GetWage, and what else would you use in the future if you wanted to improve on your solution?
Yeah, hi Stephanie. My name is Kung. I'm currently a lead backend for this team. So first questions, I'm gonna answer the first part of it. So what Google Cloud do we use? First of all, we use Firestore to have our real-time database for monitorings and IoT data coming from. So we have a very real-time database, real-time applications. Second is, it's a very crucial product that we use. It is called Google Cloud Compute Engines, which we host our pretty much everything, like our server, our REST API server, our MQTT backends, everything. And the third is one of the most favorite from our university. It is Firebase. So we use Firebase to host our website. We get a free domain, and we got HTTPS. So yeah. So I'm gonna pass the second part of the questions for our IoT guys, Mr. Yui.
Yeah, so hi Stephanie, and Gateway is open source. So when we releasing Gateway, we kind of missing out the opportunities to get to gather user insight and their behavior when the actual product has been using. So we really want to integrate those amazing Fire-based service like analytic, performance, and characteristic metric. We really want to create like a feedback loop between engineers and end users or audience, and a logging system like Stackdriver will come in handy, where you could like analyze those logs and coming up with features and to support the application. Our whole idea is we really want to turn a mobile device into an IoT device, and we really want to leverage IoT card and PubSub for the out-of-the-box solution for device management and low bandwidth data transmission. Our final candidate will be Data Studio, where it's going to like help us to do the data visualization and stuff. So that will be our plan for the futures. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I agree that Compute Engine and Firestore are both flagship products that are really useful for a wide range of workloads. So great job on that and thinking about analytics and performance as well. So my second question here is about the face masks and the machine learning that you used here. So what technologies did you use to recognize the face masks, and how does it confirm if a person has a face mask on? How do you account for different types of face masks?
So again, I will answer the first part of the question. In order to do the recognition, we kind of based on choose mechanism. On our IoT device, they're actually having a motion detection sensors. So it could like detect a movement made by the human in front, and if you notify the app gonna like open cameras. And the technology we use is TensorFlow. So we're making like a machine recognize the face mask. We're kind of doing the on-device inference rather than cloud computing power to TensorFlow Lite, because like it's bring more responsive to users when they showing up in front of the camera. And the system will respond quickly enough so they know that they have the face mask on. And TensorFlow Lite, I believe that is supported natively on most consumers' mobile devices. For the second part, like how do we account for different type of face mask? I will leave it back to Cal.
Hello. And for the question, how do you account for different type of face masks? And now the project modules are open source, so SaveONE can download and retrain the model to make it more adaptable to their certain situation, or just simply know and learn AI. And for those who use our system, we suppose each region has certain type of face mask, and we plan it to improve the model for each region, such as America, Europe, Asia, and the process will be like this. Firstly, we determine user location and then collect the new data of user by device. And finally, we retrain the model to make it more accurate and use it compatible with every region. And
So
and
like we
continue, Yi.
yeah. So we have like to sketch out an architectures that we could like store the model binary in cloud storage or bucket, and separate them into regions, and using remote config to distribute them geographically and into the application. So like users don't need to like update this and changes when new release coming out to update the recognition model. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, great. Great thorough consideration of different regional differences in face masks. I think face masks are probably similar in a lot of places, but I know now there's a bunch of different types, including clear ones. So might pose a different challenge here. But overall, my feedback on Gateway is that you all did such an amazing job. I mean, I was really impressed with the user interface as well as the hardware integration, because that's not something that's very easy to do. I thought you did a great job with the demo video as well, showing, people walking up to it. It was very clear what the use case was and what the value provided was. And for those who didn't see this, there's also a video that you made for the setup steps for people to set that application up for different locations. And that was extremely useful for just user understanding to set it up. I think my only feedback in terms of changes would be I noticed that the validation steps for face masks would change from moment to moment. So if somebody moved away, you might change and say that there's no face mask. So my feedback would be to just check for each metric once and confirm or deny, so it doesn't confuse people if they, happen to walk away for a second. The other thing I would say is I noticed that for the photo that it would take, I would add a watermark or something that would indicate when you're scanning the QR code to show the confirmation that the QR code is accepted, when you're setting it up. And then lastly, I would say if there's a way to standardize the hardware that each person needs to use to set it up, or perhaps, simplify it so it's only on a mobile phone, then that would be a great improvement for future iterations.
That's awesome feedback, Stephanie. Thank you so much. And I agree. I think Gateway, the amount of consideration that you all put into the setup, the user interface, it really shows that technology was not the only focus here. Impact was as well. So Stephanie, thank you for those questions. And Gateway, we really appreciate the discussion. We're just out of time for questions. So we really appreciate you joining us. We're going to move on to the next team. Thank you so much, Gateway.
Hello all, it's my pleasure to introduce this project team from South Korea, SaveONE. This solution supports active communication for and with the hearing impaired. The tool leverages Android, Assistant actions on Google, Flutter, Google Cloud Platform, and TensorFlow. Let's welcome Haemin, Hyomin, Doeun, and Hui from the Sungmyeong Women's University in South Korea.
Lip reading is a mode of communication which hearing impaired can actively talk. But about 39% of hearing impaired feels difficulty using lip reading in Korea. There are many people who want education, but opportunities are limited and teachers are not enough. SaveONE is an educate solution to support active communication for hearing impaired.
Let's try your tutorial. Sign in first. Let's try word lip reading practice. Choose on onset. Watch speaker's mouth and guess what word she is saying. If you want, turn on the sound. If it is too fast, control the video speed. It's correct. Congratulations. If you want to practice again, bookmark it. You can check it on my page. Then, let's try letter pronunciation exercise. Choose onset, nucleus, code, and order. Watch the video and repeat the pronunciation. Oh, it's fine. Just try again. We provide total 3,200 data produced by machine learning. Feel free to practice. Do you need more? Create your own exercise with customizing AI service. Choose a type and enter your content. You may skip typing hint. It will be automatically created. It's done. Let's check out. Everything's good. Enjoy your practice. Let's take on the challenge. Create test for sentence. If it is hard, try using hint. Now test is over. Great work! We hope you to enjoy various exercises. Good luck! We hope SaveONE will create a world where hearing impaired can communicate actively. Language barrier zero. SaveONE.
And we're back with Stephanie Wong from the Google Cloud team, as well as the entire SaveONE team. Thank you all for joining us. Stephanie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me back on.
Always.
Yeah, for anyone who's just joining, again, I'm the head of developer engagement here at Google Cloud, which means that I lead up efforts to create developer content that helps any developer out there learn about Google Cloud through videos, podcasts, blog posts, tutorials, things like that. So it's an honor to be here today and really, really amazing opportunity to learn about SaveONE. You all did such an amazing job. I truly enjoyed watching the video and learning about your implementation process. My first question for you about SaveONE is just what the hardest part about implementing each feature in the app was, and how did you overcome the challenge?
Yes, we had difficult in deploying machine learning model because we were unfamiliar with ML-based application. we had to understand how servers and clients work. So we learned how to use Vertex AI or Google AI platform. And also we needed GPU because our model used several videos to make lip reading video. But as you know, after the pandemic, the way to get GPU was limited and so was Google Cloud. So for development test, we use ngrok to open the IP address of local server. And for the user test, we built home server with GPU, which is supported from our professor.
There was also difficulty in improving UX. We got user feedbacks. They said it was confusing because of similar UIs and buttons are too small to touch. But we were not familiar with UX design. So we asked our mentor, looked up Google Material Design System. Then we modified component sizes, colors, and reduced a number of tabs. We also considered accessibilities for hearing impaired. We got advice from experts that hearing impaired might feel uncomfortable with unexpected noises from their own mobile. So we implemented a mute button and users could start practice on mute.
Great job. Yeah, it's not easy to learn machine learning or a new technology like Vertex AI. So great job on overcoming that challenge, as well as the UX feedback that you received, especially from those who are familiar with, understanding the perspective of hearing impaired. So that's really important. My second question is about inspiration that you took from other applications. I noticed that this application, ZeroZone, reminded me of some of the other language learning applications in a sense, but what inspiration did you take from those types of applications and what were they missing? How did ZeroZone try to do a better job?
Yeah, we wanted to help users to enjoy study. We looked up some education apps like Duolingo and inspired by rewarding system. So we added the stamps as the reward of each test. We also looked up Korean lip reading apps, and we found that there's a big problem was about content. Existing applications provide the most 500 contents, but our goal is to let users to practice lip reading without going to school. So we increased the number of contents about 3,000. And the contents of existing applications are grouped by similar meanings. But we wanted to focus on the confusing pronunciation. So we categorized them with words sound similar.
Also, videos of existing apps only show the mouse shape. However, we learned that speakers' facial expression is also an important factor. So ZeroZone provides videos with face. And there is also special feature for active conversation, which is not in existing apps. One is pronunciation practice. It is a solution for inaccurate speaking, which is common problem for hearing impaired. And another one is customized practice. So in this feature, users can create their own practice by using AI service. So as we intended, user can study unlimited and various contents.
Amazing. Great job overall. I really love your responses so far. I guess, should I give my feedback now, Armand, or should we move on to audience
Yeah,
questions?
let's go for it.
All right. So, yes, amazing job. Your idea is helping a great cause that many people don't often discuss. So, absolutely very noble use case here to help the hearing impaired. I also really enjoyed the feature where you're able to add your own phrases by being able to customize the machine learning model. That was definitely an extra step that you took and really go the extra mile there. I also like the fact that you are using gamification to keep people learning, along with taking user feedback to add in more gamification. I think one addition is seeing where you are in a journey or where you are in the competition can help allow people to continue to be motivated along that journey. So there might be a little bit more potential to add in additional game features. And then the last thing I would say is, as you know, many hearing impaired people might have different pronunciation of words. So, of course, training the model to account for all of these different variations is going to use a lot of data and continued improvement. But there are a lot of other organizations trying to attempt to solve this problem. I know Google has some work here in this area for impaired speech recognition. So again, just continuing to partner with other teams and organizations that are already doing work in this area, I think would also strengthen your project for Zero Zone. But overall, amazing job. I really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I completely agree with Stephanie. I personally love ed tech, and it's been awesome to watch your presentation and kind of speak with you about it. And we actually do have a live question that just came in, so we're going to bring that up to the screen. And it actually ties into some of your feedback, Stephanie. So your team really, you mentioned that you were getting feedback on your UI. You mentioned that you were getting feedback from a bunch of different people, and you were building that into the app. And now you just got feedback from Stephanie. So I'm curious, and this is a live audience question. People are curious, what improvements would you make for future versions of this app?
Yeah, that's a good question. Our goal is to provide high quality lip reading education, so users don't need to go to special school. So we would like to improve Zero Zone with 3 main features. First, we'll provide pronounce correction based on how users move their mouth. And for this, we're going to use facial landmark detection library called DLIP to extract positional coordinates of users' lip. And this gives an accurate and real-time lip motion. Then we'll add step-by-step learning courses. By following a course, user can learn the reading simply, as Stephanie told as feedbacks. And we'll add gamification features like level up or growing own characters to make the study more fun. And last, we'll give recommendation for personalized practice. Zero Zone will analyze each user's weakness and recommend content that the user possibly get wrong, so they can learn their reading more efficiently.
I love it. The idea of using technology to personalize education, I think that's great. Having a clear product roadmap is awesome. So thank you so much for answering that question. And to the live audience watching right now, you just asked that question. So please continue to add to Slido and into the chat, and we're going to have all of our teams answering some live questions directly from you. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Zero Zone team. This was an awesome discussion. Thanks a lot.
Fantastic. Thank you for the inspiring project. Now we'll hear from Team Isak. Isak is an application that combines the activity of jogging and litter collection to make picking up litter more impactful. It uses Firebase, Flutter, Google Cloud Platform, and TensorFlow. Let's welcome the members of the team, Changwoo, Jungwoo, Jonghyung, and Hyunwook from the Suncheon University in South Korea.
Save the world with exercise, blogging. When you started the application, we added a description of 3 pictures. The first picture is running. The second is picking up trash, and finally storing and sharing records. Click Start. You can log in or sign up as a member, and you can know the order of membership by numbers. On the main screen, it starts with a screen composed of maps, and if you click on the top right, you will see the plugin guide. When you start running, you will see a screen consisting of 4 pieces of information. If you stop running, the flogging start button appears. If you take a picture of the trash while flogging, the number of flogging is automatically checked. After flogging, you can continue to run or save it by clicking the Finish button. Social include community, ranking, and news functions. In the community, you can view other people's posts and their exercise information. Post categorize them into regions and friends. You can also add friends. Click the search button. You can see your ranking of friends or region and see information about running or exercising in the news. There are weeks and accumulations in the challenge. In the cumulative challenge, you can also check the progress. You can use the points from the challenge at the shop. In my profile, you can see the total number and the list of posts. My records show all the records and details of them, and you can share the record. At the shop, you can donate to the organization with the points. Save the earth from the trash, plugging.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got Nilay here from the Flutter team to lead our discussion with the whole Isak team. Hey, Nilay, how are you doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. It's a cloudy day here in New York, but we're talking to some very, very awesome students. So could be worse.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you calling from? I'd love to and hear your questions from the team.
Yes, sounds good. Hi, everyone. My name is Nilay, and I am currently based in California, San Jose. So it's a sunny day here, but I am originally from Turkey. I work in the Flutter developer relations team, and I work with a lot of community programs. So today I'm so excited to meet you again here because I know you participate in the student clubs community, which is amazing. And also you did this amazing project. So this is so exciting. Also, I know that you use Flutter in your project, so I'm curious to hear about your how you use it and what your experience was. But I think we can start with the first question, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good. So my first question will be to you. I know that you use Flutter. That's exciting, but I also want to learn what other Google technologies you use, why, and how did you decide?
Thank you for your question, Nilay. First, we use the Flutter to develop our app. Flutter provides a variety of customized packages, and this was our main reason why we decided on it. These numerous packages created by different users helps us to show high-level performances compared to any other existing development kits.
Providing location information is the most important feature for our app. Our team decided to use Google Maps since it's the most compatible with Flutter. By using location library, we were able to track the user's route and even calculate their speed while plugging. And with limited time and resources, we couldn't spend enough time to develop the backend side as we wished. So we decided to use Firebase to reduce overall development time. Firebase's online backend also helped our team members to work individually without unnecessary contacts.
We used MLQ for waste recognition. In the beginning, we hoped to have real-time garbage identification for our app, but the first classification model that we used was not qualified for it. This previous model couldn't process photos in real time, so users had to take pictures one by one. That we require a user to stop every time when they want to capture a garbage. However, this Google MLQ's real-time object detection and image labelings features enables the identifying the multiple garbages library and makes the user's plugging experience effortless.
Oh, that's great. And it's so cool to see you get to use all those Google technologies together with Flutter, Firebase, Google Market, and Google Maps. And it's a cool experience, I believe. So that's great. And also your idea, like the causes you are trying to solve is also great. And I'm curious, what inspired you to make this app? How did you start?
We've noticed more and more of our university students taking their food out and eating outside because of the COVID-19 situation. Instead, returning become a huge problem generally. Also, when we started research about this problem, we learned that the amount of disposable packaging and delivery material has increased by 8.8% than previous year. These environmental problems are pretty serious, and we wanted to find solution to make a better future. Moreover, the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown with restricted access of many public facilities has caused many Koreans to engage in pure physical activities. Our team wanted to find the best solution that is fun but also sustainable. While we searching for a best solution that could reduce amount of wastage and provide exercise opportunities at the same time, our team discovered the plugin. Plugin is a combination of jogging with picking up little. This environmental movement started from Sweden around 2016, and it recently spread to South Korea for especially local environmental groups and volunteer activities. We thought it would be good to create an app where users could share their activities, encourage each other, and work together.
Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing. So, first of all, thank you again for thinking about this. So that this is a great idea, especially during pandemic when all of our physical activity was limited. You encourage people to go out and do some physical activity with other people in the community, and also like picking up the trash and very cool social features, like you were able to donate points to the some of the organizations. So that's great and well done. So I watched your video as well. It's great. I was a little bit confused about the project name and the application name. I was like, am I watching the right video? So this is my one feedback to you. Also, one thing to add is that especially like this app can be used anywhere in the world, right? And there are different like people, different environment. You might want to like do a little bit more user feedback in a diverse set of group to decide what features you might want to add so people might enjoy this locally in their region. So well done again, and good luck.
I definitely agree, Nilay. I think you even mentioned the number of Google technologies used in this project is awesome. And I agree with you. It's so important to consistently speak with users and really drive home that impact. And Isak team, I think you did a phenomenal job there. Thank you so much. We're actually just out of time for questions. So I wanted to wrap this up and thank you again for joining us today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello. Wow, these demos are great. It's now my pleasure to bring us over to Canada as we introduce the team from Blossom. This application provides an integrated solution for young girls to get access to accurate and reliable menstrual education and resources. And it uses Android, Firebase, Google Cloud Platform. Welcome the creators, Aditi, Haidt, Jinao Mihak from the University of Waterloo, Canada.
Welcome to Blossom. Created with Flutter, Blossom is an innovative one-stop app for young girls to get access to relevant and reliable menstrual education and resources available on Android and iOS. And opening the app, the user is directed to a sign-in page where they can sign up, log in through Gmail, or continue as an anonymous user. During the onboarding process, they can answer some key questions such as age and interests, which all help us to personalize the user experience. On the home page, users can find the daily question, a snippet of their cycle tracker, related stories and news, and their profile.
Next, we have our period logger. This feature allows the user to record their period information onto a calendar, including date, mood levels, pain, and additional notes. It allows young girls to develop healthy period tracking habits while also allowing users to look back at the information and more accurately predict their future cycles as well as future cycle habits. This was built using the Table Calendar Flutter package, and it uses Firebase to restore user entries when they log in.
We further implemented the learning feature. The information available to each user is dependent on the age they inputted when they first opened the application. The older the age, the more mature the information that is presented. There are also different topics for the user to progress through, such as consent, self-care, and periods, and they can complete questions to check their understanding.
The map features allows the user to find the nearest period product and health services. Built using the Directions and Places API, they can directly search a location or use the filters to search for pads, tampons, doctors, and other necessities. Once the user selects a location, they can view key details. Based on what they've searched for, the app also provides learning information and alternative options.
Our app has the potential to empower thousands of underprivileged individuals through learning more about their reproductive systems and practicing good health and well-being.
And we're back. And we've gotten the Blossom team here to have a great discussion with us about their project. And Nilai's back from the Flutter team to lead this discussion. Nilai, just in case anyone just joined us, would you mind reintroducing yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Nilai, and I work in the Flutter Developer Relations team and working on the community programs. I am here, one of the judges today, and I'm so excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You have two questions for us, right? I'm really, really excited to hear.
Exactly.
Cool.
I have two questions. Hi, team again. Good to see you. I know also you also use Flutter, and I am in the Flutter team, and so I'm so excited to hear also about your app again. And my first question for you will be, so are there similar apps in the market, and are there any features that makes your app different than the other apps?
Yeah, great question, Nilai. When we first started exploring our problem space, we definitely did encounter similar apps. So we need to determine to what extent do these solutions address our problem space. As a group of South Asian students, we know firsthand that menstrual education is neither taught nor well received in developing countries. Part of the reason why our first use case was India. With our focus on democratizing menstrual information in all parts of the world, we can break down Blossom's unique value into three main parts. One, existing apps prioritize profit. More often than not, the learning aspect of these apps required paid subscriptions, an unreasonable request for youth who are simply trying to learn more about their bodies. So to combat this problem, our learning section offers users quizzes and modules, free of charge. Secondly, existing apps related to the female reproductive system are tailored towards older populations. While conducting various rounds of user interviews and testing, we noticed that a primary concern was convoluted content, despite menstrual hygiene being a priority at as young as 8 years old. Thus, Blossom helps girls learn from ground up, irrespective of age or prior knowledge. Finally, Blossom takes the entire user journey into account. It doesn't just stop at period tracking and information. We also offer a search feature for menstrual products and drugstores based on price, distance, and rating. Knowing what to buy and where to look for is a luxury that most girls won't learn until it may be too late. Now, tying these three parts together by providing a centralized location for all information, products, and personal needs, Blossom aims to build a more accessible future that starts with young girls.
That's amazing. Such a great cause and such a great idea. Again, thank you for thinking about this. And my second question for you will be about the tech that you use, especially for the Flutter part. So what was the challenge you faced while you were building your app, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, so thanks for asking, Nile. We developed Blossom with the focus of making it really easy for users to track their history and get connected with reliable information. As a result, we decided to use Firebase for the data retrieval. However, from the user research we conducted, we found that many users were really sensitive to a privacy risk, given the delicacy of the content on the app. We found that we cannot expect users to have a Google account or email address, know how to log in using one, or want to associate their account with the app because of the taboo topics we speak about. From user testing, we considered a hybrid or local version of the app that would significantly improve data privacy. As a result, we decided to add a feature that would let users log in anonymously without any Google account or traditional username and password.
However, since much of the Blossom was already developed, we needed to extensively change our backend. Our app's data retrieval for users' account information from onboarding, the current quiz they were on, and their menstrual cycle history were all from Firebase. We were determined to still give a customized experience to an anonymous user. The challenge was to not have any account associated with it. To overcome this challenge, we learned to improve our backend technology by either retrieving data externally from Firebase or locally from the phone storage. Our main resources for learning were Flutter documentation, online tutorials, forums, and those with lots of Flutter expertise. We conducted user testing both before and after these changes were implemented, where we measured the drop-off from installation of the app to 2 weeks later, and it decreased by 37%. Now our app is more accessible than ever, and we're so excited to see where Blossom goes on its technological journey.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, Neela, please.
Yeah, sure. Also, yeah, I know also David from the Firebase team, it was like he's watching, and I'm sure he's so excited that you're using Firebase too. So again, thank you for the great idea. I also know that this is so important because I was grown up in a Eastern country, and I know this information is not accessible to everyone, or it's hard to find, like, to learn this kind of information, or it's hard to find people to talk about this. So this is so important to have this information accessible to everyone. So again, thank you for thinking about that. And also, I love that you tested this app with diverse set of users, so you get to understand how people feel, and you added features about that. That's great. So one thing I might add, that like your video was awesome, and then if you could show more about that, like how this your app is representing a diverse audience and how important it is, it might be much better. But again, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that was awesome feedback. Thank you, Neela. I agree that video was phenomenal. And we actually have a live question coming in. We mentioned this before, we have live questions on Slido and in the Google chat or in the YouTube chat. And we have one, we're pulling it up right now. Here it is. So how did you display the address of all doctors' offices on the map?
So I think I can answer that question since I worked on the map implementation part. So cool. The Google Places API, actually, when you make a request, you retrieve information about the location, which includes the address, the office hours, the ratings, and other information that you would usually, which you can usually access when you search something up on Google. So the Google Places API, you can get all sorts of information when you put a GET request.
Awesome. So how many Google technologies are we using here? We're using Google Maps, Flutter, Firebase. Like, I feel like the list keeps going on, and that's, I personally love that, that the extent to which you're using technology, like Neela said, speaking with users, and best of all, making a huge impact. So thank you for that presentation and for answering these questions and talking with us today. Really, really appreciate your time, Blossom.
Thank you, team.
Greetings of the day, everyone. Wow, I really enjoyed the last demo, and I'm excited to announce the next one. We'll now hear from GetWage. This project provides a tool to help those impacted by unemployment and unfilled positions in the local economy find and post daily wage work with ease. It uses Firebase, Flutter, Google Cloud Platform, and TensorFlow. Join me in welcoming the creators of the project, Alia, Aniket, Neenad, and Shivam from the GetWage College of Engineering in Nagpur, India.
Daily wage working is the largest unorganized working condition in India with about 82% of the total workforce. They suffer from seasonal cycles of unemployment with no proper employee employer relationship. They have a scattered and fragmented workspace due to which they do not have proper access to labor unions and awareness about various government schemes. The current COVID pandemic has caused a significant impact on the unorganized sector, exposing the mental and economic vulnerabilities the daily wage worker goes through. GetWage is our proposed solution to help address this issue. On signing up, the user gets two options. Let's see the Find a Job option first. The user first has to select the categories of jobs he is interested in, then enter some basic details, and upon verification of their mobile number, the account setup is complete. Welcome to the feed. This section of the app is where the user will be able to see all the different jobs according to their selected preferences. They can also filter the jobs by category, wage range, location range, and work duration. The job details page also has a map view in order to help understand the location better, and also has an option to chat with the job poster in order to get clarifications if any, along with an option to apply. Apart from helping daily wage workers in finding work, our app also provides resources to help them learn basic required skills like spoken English, finance, road safety, etc. There are government schemes offered to daily wage workers, however, due to lack of awareness, not 100% of the people benefit from it. Therefore, we have created a separate section for listing relevant government schemes. We have built this application using Flutter for frontend, Firebase for backend, and TensorFlow for AI-based recommender system. We aim to make the app available in Hindi using the Google Translate API so that it is accessible to more people. We are also working closely with Sani Enterprises and VS Brothers, who are established organizations in this field. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with David East from the Firebase team, as well as the entire GetWage team to have a discussion about the project that you just saw. David, how you doing?
Doing great. I'm super excited to be here. I'm in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, and I'm having a great day.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for coming, and I'm really, really excited to hear your questions.
Yeah, absolutely. The first question that I have, I was really impressed when going through this app because of how it connected people for where you had employers being connected with employees for people looking for work. And one of the things that I was thinking about as I was going through the video was, how do you plan on onboarding employers and verifying their actual wage rates?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking, David. So when an employer decides to list their job on our platform, there are two possibilities. One, they're already registered with the app, and in this case, they will simply have to go ahead and create a job post after signing in. Now, the second possibility is that they're using the app for the first time. In case they're using the app for the first time, they will first have to register with their mobile number, verify it, and fill in some basic details, including the CIN number. Now, the CIN number is really important for us to be able to verify if the company actually exists and is a registered company with the government of India. We also plan to take the employer's consent that upon signing up on our platform, they agree to abide by all labor laws set by the government of India on all employments on our platform. Now, once the sign up is complete, the employer can go ahead and create the job post. An important thing to note here is that while selecting the wage range, the employer will not be able to select a wage that is below the minimum daily wage set by the government of India. Now, we first plan to work with small scale local companies, and once we're sure that the app is making significant impact and is flawless, we plan to work in partnerships with municipal corporations and eventually with national and state level governments.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like that you're looking into a lot of the regulations by the government, and also taking like such important information like the CIM number. That's really awesome. My next question is near and dear to me, being the Firebase person, but when you were using Firebase, how did you go about deciding your data structure and also your security model? And what were some of the challenges that you ran into?
Thanks, David, for the question. I would like to answer this one. So according to our requirements of our application, there was a need of 4 primarily different collections, which are chats, courses, jobs, and users. Our app mainly has two types of users, employee and employer. So instead of using two different collections for both, we are just classifying them with a user type field inside the user collection itself. For security, we are using Firebase security rules, which allow users to perform read-write operations only if they are authenticated. Also, for accessing role-specific Firebase documents, they'll have to be authorized to be able to do so. For example, a user will be able to delete a job only if their user type is employer. Coming to last part of the question, one of the biggest challenges we faced was to implement phone authentication because Firebase recently pulled out a significant update which made apps mandatory to have human verification before proceeding with actual function. But thanks to well-written documentation, we did solve this issue after some struggle.
Yeah, I always love it when I hear people talking about writing their security rules. Security rules are super important. And if you haven't gotten started with the Firebase emulator suite, you should totally look into that because it allows you to run all that stuff locally first before deploying. But yes, anytime someone talks about the security they're doing, it just makes me so happy. So thank you all so much.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, David, do you have any other feedback for the team, given that you are the, like you said, Firebase person? You actually taught me Firebase on the YouTubes, so I appreciate that. Do you have any quick feedback for the team?
Yeah, so first, I really love the UI on this app. I thought it was like very clean and very easy to use, and I think that that's like very underrated when you're making an app. It's like really easy to kind of like go over the top and like use all these different colors and stuff. And I thought you did a really good job of like being like this nice blues, good white background. I thought it looked really great, and I really love hearing about how you focused on your security model. I really like that you use phone authentication as well. I think that's just such a natural onboarding flow. The thing I would do now is I'd really look into how do you like future-proof this app in the sense of like, how do I make sure that when I add more features, things aren't breaking and that things are testable and verifiable. So like I was saying earlier, look into the Firebase emulator suite. It'll allow you to run everything locally. And then even you can do the phone number auth flows locally because we provide like mock screens for that. And then you can run things in tests. And that way, as you add more features, you're not going to be like, oops, this thing broke right here. You'll be able to verify everything before deployment. So, and then even looking into using things like app distribution so you can get testers of other features out as you roll things out. So yeah, I mean, I love the app. I love the mission. And I thought you did such a great job.
Awesome. David, thank you for that feedback. I'm definitely going to be using that emulator for my startup because we use Firebase. And GetWage team, I'm sure you're also going to be taking that into consideration with what you're building next. Thank you all for joining and having this awesome discussion right now. We're out of time, but really, really appreciate it. Thanks.
Goodbye.
These are some truly inspiring projects. Now we head over to the country of Turkey, as we welcome the team from Starvelp. This application aims to tackle the problems of food waste and hunger by enabling more ways to share local resources with those in need. It leverages Firebase, Flutter, and Google Cloud Platform. Let's say hello to Akash and Selim from İzmir University of Economics in Turkey.
Nearly 690 million people suffer from hunger, which amounts to 8.9% of the world population. A 250 million people potentially at brink of starvation. 6.9% children under 5 were affected by acute undernutrition. A major cause of these problems depends on economic condition of small farmers, lack of proper food supply or generation in affected areas. But how can common people come up to end this problem? By our app, Starvelp, we want to target and bring large participation of people to unite and end this problem by 2030. Starvelp is an app that targets to solve problem of poor economic condition of affected people, solve the problem of large food waste and control it, bring small-scale farmers to buy products directly from them and create awareness among people to be a part of the challenge.
In the app, firstly the users must either sign up or log into their account, and then they arrive at the home screen.
In the home screen, we have search employment feature from which people with poor financial conditions can find work suited for them. You can also donate specific amount of money to various foundations working on the problem. Then we have waste deliver section in which you can select location, move to the deliver page, enter your details and fill up what waste you want to deliver. You can actually choose a collecting restaurant or which are basically big collectors which can use your waste or can pass on to needed people. In fact, you can also choose from our connecting restaurants. Moreover, you can successfully deliver food waste if you ordered it from online from those platforms. We have then our market screen where you can buy crops and vegetables directly from the farmers and call them to know what's more available.
And then in our inform screen, which targets to create awareness among people, you can see the news related to worldwide hunger problem and posts of people around the world, how they are contributing and making impact. You can also create your own posts and share them with people about what you did. And then there comes the help section where restaurants and people can join and volunteer to work with us in this mission and get ratings and recognition in the community. And in the profile page, people can check out their ratings and history of what waste deliveries and donations they made in this profile section. We have made some improvements to our app in the mentoring phase. For visually, we changed some colors, alignments, and text font type. We also have implemented a chat feature for buying from farmers and used Firestore for that. And we implemented payments feature. We used Razorpay for the payments processing.
Last, this project comprised various Google technologies like Flutter for making our application, Google Maps API, Firebase Auth, and Firestore database for storing all user information. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Celine and Akash from the Starvelp team, and I'd like to reintroduce David East from the the Firebase team.
I could be
David,
on the Flutter team. You know, Flutter's great.
We love all Google technologies here. David, could you reintroduce yourself just in case anybody just joined us?
Yes, my name is David East. I work on the Firebase team as a developer relations engineer, and I'm coming here from Washington, D.C. today, and I am happy to be here for part 2 of my stint. That is part many for you.
Awesome. Yeah, really, really excited to hear your questions. Thanks, David.
Yes, I got 2 questions that I'm ready to ask, and I'm very excited to hear the responses for this. So the first one is that this app did a lot of things to help with hunger. And one of the things that I was thinking about is it did so many different things, but what did you think is the most important feature of that app? And how do you see that feature expanding and growing in the future?
First of all, thank you for your question. Maybe I can answer the question. I think one of the most important features of our app is the delivery of left foods. When we look at the problem of world hunger, we see that people left some foods in their meal most of the time. And we know that if we share those foods with the people in need, we can prevent significant amounts of world hunger. We achieve the delivery of left foods by partnering with restaurants or online food ordering platforms like Zomato and Swiggy, etc. First, the user requests the delivery of left foods, and one of the volunteers go to the user's location and take the left food to the restaurant to be taken and shared with the people from there. And in the online ordering part, user requests the delivery of left foods with their own ordering number so that the food will be taken by the restaurant to be shared with the people in need. And for the future version of it, when users request delivery of their food, they will earn some amount of discount for their next order from that restaurant, so that the app encourages people to share their meal. Also, users can make donations to the non-profit organizations which fight against world hunger. Another important feature of our app is buying directly from farmers. Users can call the farmers or message to them directly from the app in the chat screen. Users can send money to the farmers in that chat screen as well, so that our app helps the farmers financially and make the people get the vegetables and fruits with the best price. So the app helps grow the economy of farmers, and in the future version of it, we want to make the app available and accessible to everyone, including the people who does not have smartphones or stable internet connections. For example, the farmers who does not have smartphones with touchscreen will be able to access the app via SMS messaging to a specific phone number. and they will be able to communicate with the user who wants to buy from them via that SMS messaging. Lastly, another feature which we think important is the inform screen. We believe that if people share awareness and create their campaigns, we can help more people and prevent hunger. So the inform screen in the app achieves exactly this. In the inform screen, users can create posts to share how they help, raise awareness, and they can create their own campaign to help the people. So users see the posts and become united to help this mission to end hunger. In the future version of it, we want to gamify the app and reward the users based on their contributions and helps. We will achieve this by applying gamification principles to the app and add level up system and some badges. These will be seen from the user's profile page. Our aim here is to increase the awareness to end hunger so that the users who have more will get more badges and gamified rewards. We believe that we can end world hunger if we work together. Thank you so much.
Awesome. No, I love that you have like all these plans. Like you've already done so much. So the fact that you're so excited about like all this follow-up stuff is really amazing to hear. Uh, for my second question, it's Firebase related. And when I was going through your app, I saw that you were using all these different Firebase services. You're using Firebase Authentication, Firestore, and Cloud Storage. So each one of those is its own independent service in of itself, and it requires, if you're using them all together, you have to combine data from them. So I was wondering, how did you go about combining data from Firestore, Authentication, and Cloud Storage?
So, David, first of all, it's a really nice question. So in an app, to leverage all these Firebase services and effortlessly integrate, we use some of the core dependencies of Firebase, like Firebase Core, Firebase Auth, and Firebase Storage. So our first task was to register the user into the app, which was handled by Firebase Auth. And then we got all the current user data using the Auth instance. Now, Firestore acts as a full backend database in which we had various collections like delivery requests, our volunteers, connecting restaurants, user posts, and user chats with our fellow farmers. And storing data from our app, we used Firestore instance. And since we had our current user data available, we were able to identify which user is sharing the information and data. For example, if you are a user and you want to make a delivery request for the food, then you can enter the location, enter your current location, or you can manually enter the location, and that will be stored in the delivery request collection. Now, there was a little challenge part for us, and that was the user post. Now, if it's a normal post with no images or files, then it is normally stored in user post collection. But what if the user is sharing images or files or want to create more awareness? Then first it needs to be uploaded on the cloud storage. And thanks to Firebase Storage, we were able to upload the image and retrieve a download URL, which was put into the create post function we created, whose sole purpose was to post the data into user post collection. And then in the chat section of user with the farmers was again related to a successful relation between the farmer's current collection ID and current user data instance. Now, if the user is making payments, they were recorded too, each by the description of the payment. Like, for example, you want to buy 1 kilogram of mangoes, then you pay 100 rupees, and there is a description that you bought 1 kilogram of mangoes. So it will create an integrity that you will have authentication that you paid the money to the farmer, and this was the thing you got. Though there were some other complexities, but that was pretty much it, how we manage these services. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've totally been there before where you have different types of like a certain record, which NoSQL databases are great for because you don't have to adhere everything to a certain schema. So you don't need to create like 2 tables for 2 different types of posts or something like that. And so, but it also becomes complex because you're like, I have this image URL. How do I render that inside of this post? But this one may not have that. And that definitely can become tricky. So it's really cool hearing how you overcame it. One of the things that I have done in the past that I think is really cool is you can spin up a cloud function. So if you mirror the same structure in your storage, in cloud storage as you do with Firestore, because they both have like path-based storage key values, you can say, okay, whenever this image has been uploaded in cloud storage, trigger this function that's just writes the download URL back to Firestore. And so that way they kind of like stay in sync that way, and you don't have to worry about kind of, you know, putting it all together on the fly. It just kind of, you can kind of trust that Cloud Functions is going to do its job and write that URL in there. And then even for quick uploads afterwards, where that URL is not quite there yet, you can, since it's in real time, it will eventually get updated. And so you can kind of just wait on it until it renders. So yeah, that's a nice trick that I've done that you might want to look into unless, you know, what you have right now is working well. But I really love everything you all did. It did such a great job.
David, I love that pro tip. I'm going to steal that just like I did from the last tip that you gave. That's phenomenal. And yeah, really, really appreciate your expertise. And we're actually just out of time for questions. So thank you, Team Starvelp, and thank you to all the teams that we've talked to so far today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're moving on, but don't go anywhere. We're going to mix it up with a fun game of trivia right now. We have Kyle Paul, who's a long-time Googler, to share some questions and fun facts that'll probably surprise you. Right now, I'm going to pass it off to Kyle, and I'll see you right back here after trivia.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you've enjoyed the demo so far. I'm seeing lots of great techniques and cool uses of Google technology in each of them. My name is Kyle Paul. I am the Core Server Community and Experts Lead here at Google. We have some more great demos coming up for you next, but first, I've put together a fun little trivia break for you all with some questions to test your knowledge of Google history, share some fun facts about our products, and some of the magic that makes Google, Google. To play along, you'll need to hop on over to slido.com and enter the code GDSC22 or 22. There is a QR code on the screen that you can scan with your mobile device to also join the quiz. When you're joining Slido, you'll see an option with a little red dot that says Live QA and Trivia. Go ahead and join that one. When you join the Live QA and Trivia, you want to make sure you're on the Polls tab. This is where you'll need to enter your name and click Join. And to note, without putting in a name, you won't be able to participate. Make sure that once you know the answer to the question, quickly go ahead and punch in your response. If you don't answer a question in time, you may lose your chance to respond, and we will move on to the next question. So stick with us as the questions come up on your screens. With that, it looks like we have a decent amount of folks ready for some trivia. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're still trying to join, don't worry. You can still join and catch up with us here in a bit. Our first question is, when was Google officially founded? And with that, your options are November 10th, 1997, September 4th, 1998, March 5th, 1998, or October 3rd, 1998. So I'm being a little bit tricky here. So it's not just the year that you need to know. What date did Google officially start? So I'm going to go ahead and give all of you here a little bit of time. Maybe some of you are still joining. Please go ahead and hop in and plug in those answers. Excited to see who gets this one right. And I see some great answers coming in. We might have a clear leader here. I'm going to go ahead and lock this one down. There is a slight delay, so hopefully all of you have it locked in and ready to go. And it looks like we have most of you got it correct. That is awesome. That is, September 4th, 1998 is correct. That is when Google was officially founded. The other dates were there to trick you. Sorry about that. Up next, we have another question for you. What was Google's original name? Let's see how many people I trick here. You have to go way back in your history banks here. No cheating. You can't go Google this. So what was Google's original name? And your options here are web crawler, backrub, CWeb, or PageRank. Let's see who gets this one right. So there's a couple tricky answers in here. Hopefully I don't trick too many of you, but that should get some good guesses in here and see where we land. I see a lot of great guesses coming in here. It looks like most of you are getting the right one potentially. I could have thrown many of you off. Who knows? We'll see here. Give you all a couple more seconds. Make sure to get those answers locked in. And I'm going to go ahead and lock this down. Great job, everyone. It looks like Backrub has it, and that is the correct answer. Fortunately, we did not stick with this name, and we switched to Google, which, as many of you know, Google is an alternate spelling of the mathematical constant of a Google. And so that's where we got our real name. Backrub was something that our founders had put together as a way to help, identify and put those links together. So that's kind of the history with that one. We have a whole about page that details a lot more of this if you want to learn more there. Up next, we have a true or false question. So true or false? Google negotiated its acquisition of YouTube at Denny's over mozzarella sticks. So I might be tricking some of you here. Was it YouTube that we did this, that we negotiated our acquisition? Was it Denny's, the restaurant? was it actually mozzarella sticks? Was that the dish? So let's see if I tricked anybody here. So your answers are either true or false. Let's see. You have a 50-50 chance. Hopefully it's not too difficult. It's either true or false. Did we negotiate this? Did we negotiate YouTube? Was it Denny's? Was it mozzarella sticks? Am I throwing anybody off here with these details? And I'm going to go ahead and lock this down. Hopefully all of you have had enough time to answer here. It looks like we got another couple seconds. All right, cool. And it looks like most of you had trick. That's awesome. Yes, it was actually YouTube at Denny's over mozzarella sticks. What's funny here, as part of this backstory, YouTube was traditionally a collared shirt and slacks type of atmosphere company, and Google were kind of known for their t-shirts and shorts atmosphere. And so as they went to go meet at the restaurant, they wanted to appeal to each other. And so the Google folks showed up in collared shirts and slacks, and the YouTube folks showed up in t-shirts and shorts. And it's still kind of a fun joke since then, how they tried to appeal to each other. So great job, everyone there. So up next, the next question is, when was Google Cloud initially launched? So keyword there, initially. When was Google Cloud initially launched? Your options here are 2008, 2009, 2010, or 2011. So I'm not looking for a specific date here, just the year. When was Google Cloud initially launched? 2008, 2009, 2010, or 2011. Let's see if I trick anybody here. We've got some good answers coming in. Keep those answers coming in. Excited to see who gets this one right. Looks like most of you are doing a good job at this. I'm going to go ahead and lock this down. Let's see. Oh, wow. All right. We have the 2008s have it, and that is correct. Great job, everyone. This was actually App Engine. So when we built App Engine as our first Google Cloud product, we initially launched it in 2008, and then it became generally available in 2010. But App Engine was our very first cloud product, which is still one of my favorite cloud products, and it's still a very powerful serverless product. So great job, everyone there. Up next, we have, in which year was the first version of Google Chrome released? So kind of a trick question here. In which year was the first version of Google Chrome released? Go ahead and lock those answers in now. Was this 1999, 2008, 2014, or 2016? When was the first version of Google Chrome and released? So again, that's 1999, 2008, 2014, or 2016. And give you all a few more seconds. No Googling, remember. See if you all know this one. Give you all a few more seconds here. Hopefully you can get those answers locked in. All right. Oh, it looks like some people are changing their answers. Uh-oh. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and lock this down. And 2008 is the correct answer. Congrats, everyone there. The rumor mill kicked around in 2004 that Google was working on a browser. It was actually 2006 when we started development on Google Chrome. And from there is where we initially launched the first version of Google Chrome in 2008. And we partly did this because, as we were developing web apps, we wanted to help push the web forward, because browsers at the time weren't really moving to the next stage. And so this is where we helped to invent Google Chrome and the Chromium project to push those web standards forward. So great job there, everyone. It was 2008. Next up, we have another true or false question. So true or false, what Firebase hosting is required for you to use Firebase products within your web app? Is that true or false? Is Firebase hosting required for you to use Firebase products with your web app? Is that true or false? There are certain parts of Firebase. Hopefully, many of you looked at or used Firebase. It's one of my favorite Google products. I know I have a lot of favorite Google products, but is Firebase hosting required for you to use any Firebase product in your web app? Ooh, it looks like I might be tricking some folks here. This was a fun question. So, is Firebase hosting required for you to use Firebase products within your web app? So, give you all a few more seconds here. Make sure to get those answers locked in once you have your answer. I'm going to go ahead and lock this down shortly. And we're locked down. And this was actually very surprising. I tricked many of you. Sorry about that. The false is the correct answer. So while Firebase hosting is amazing and it is a global CDN that's free, included with your Firebase project, you are not required to use it with a web app. So you can host your web app on Google Cloud or another third-party service. But in order to use Firebase, you can use Firebase authentication with your web app. You can use the Firebase real-time database or cloud data store, anything like that, or even Firebase Analytics. But you aren't required to use Firebase hosting with your web app if you're using a Firebase product. So great job to most of you here. Up next, and our final question for our trivia break here today. True or false? Google's first international office was in London, UK in 2001. Is that true or is that false? Am I tricking some of you again here? Is it true or false? Was Google's first international office in London, UK in 2001? Is this true or is this false? Was it Google's first international office? Was it London? Was it in the UK? Was it actually 2001? Make sure you're paying attention to all the details I put into the questions here, because it looks like I've been stumping many of you. So was Google's first international office in London, UK? And we're getting a lot of answers locked in here. So no Googling, remember. Awesome. Cool. So it looks like we have most folks locked in here. Hopefully you have your answers. We're getting ready to lock this down. So let's see who got it correct. And the false has it. That is correct. Most of you, hopefully you didn't Google this one. It was not London, UK. It was actually Tokyo, Japan is where our first international office was. It was actually 2001 is when that office was opened up. But with that, great job, everyone. Let's go ahead and look at the leaderboard and see who came out on top here. And it looks like George. Congratulations, George. You got 7 out of 7. It looks like we had most folks that got 7 out of 7. So great job, everyone. That was so much fun. Thank you all for taking part in this trivia break with us. As a reward for playing and tuning in with us here today, we'd like to share a Google Developer Badge with you all. Now you can head on over to Google/Demo Day-Dev Badge. That's GOO.gle/Demo Day 22-Dev Badge to claim your Demo Day attendee badge. We will also share this link in the YouTube live chat and here on your screen, so you can add the badge from there as well. Make sure to jump back over to the QA tab on Slido.com so you can ask the student teams questions and vote for the People's Choice Award. Remember to use hashtags Solution Challenge and Developer Student Clubs when posting on social media. We're seeing some great posts so far. And to leave you with a final bit of trivia, did you know that the little symbol we use for a hashtag is actually called an octothorpe? Well, there you go. And now you know. Now we'll go get back to the remainder of the demos. Thank you so much for taking part in the trivia break and enjoy the rest of Demo Day. See y'all next time.
Hi, everyone. I'm so impressed by each of these demos. and now I am thrilled to welcome BloodCall. This application aims to make blood donation an easier and more effective task for everyone involved by leveraging Android, Firebase, and the Google Maps SDK. Let's welcome the creators of the project, Georgios, Athanasios, Georgios, and Stefanos from Arkopi University of Athens in Greece.
In many parts around the world, demand for blood is high. However, most of the population who is able to donate doesn't. BloodCall is an Android app that aims to change that. Our solution aims to better inform the general public about blood donations, but also help regular blood donors with access to organized information. Our application provides a list of all donation points filtered by their accepted donation type on a real-time map and displays all current emergencies in a way that is easy to understand and decode. Additionally, our app provides the user with real-time emergency notifications as well as donation event notifications based on their location.
Hospitals can communicate with the users directly through the app by creating events and posting emergencies. Our app provides these functionalities in a hassle-free way, since it automatically handles event deletion, alert deletion, and blood compatibility calculation. Our application provides a way to reward the users for their goodwill by accumulating experience points by sharing events or by donating blood. To achieve that, each user has a unique QR code in his device, which the hospital can scan and award the user.
BloodCall aims to ease the mind of potential blood donors by providing them with a space they can communicate with fellow blood donors and healthcare professionals alike. The community aspect is furthermore expanded by the use of a ranking system, thus providing a healthy competition environment to commonly achieve a good cause.
All information on our application is stored with a combination of Firebase's real-time database and storage, and our notifications are handled using cloud messaging and cloud functions. These tools ensure that all the information is updated in real time and conveyed to the user as fast as possible, since in emergencies, every second counts.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Kat Kwan from the Android team, as well as all of the members of BloodCall. Thanks for joining everyone from BloodCall. And Kat, great to see you again. How you doing?
Good to see you. Thanks for having us. And so great to
Absolutely.
meet you all from the BloodCall team. Excited to chat with you. My name is Kat Kwan. I'm a developer relations engineer on the Android DevRel team. And I love the app that you've created and there's so much creativity that you've put into it. I have a couple questions that I wanted to ask you about. See if you could share more about your experience in building the app. So the first question is about how did you go about the process of understanding the challenges of the blood donors and the hospitals to make sure that the app actually met their needs?
Yeah, so hello everyone. First, to understand the problems of blood donors, we looked at ourselves. At one point, we all wanted to donate blood, but we didn't know where to go, what kind of hospitals accept donations, or even if there are events going on, etc. That was when the first spark for the whole idea occurred. We saw a problem in our lives and we decided to further look into it. We specifically aim to help the sufferers of long-term diseases that simply couldn't reach enough donors, and also the people that have been in some sort of accident. And that is actually what inspired our alert system. Because especially in Greece, the accidents are at an all-time high. So you see many relatives of people who have been in an accident informing, like from social media, that their loved ones need blood and such. So we thought we could make something more targeted and organized. In the whole process of the development of the application, to make sure we were on the right path, we asked for regular feedback from our relatives and our friends using surveys, as well as we asked feedback from professors from our university. That's about it. Does anyone else have to add something?
Yes, thank you, Thanasis, and hello, everyone. We also tried to reach hospitals, but unfortunately, due to another COVID wave in our country, they were a bit hard to reach. So we at first came up with our own ideas, which later weren't confirmed by a nurse within our circle. that we managed to talk with, and he basically agreed to all our suggestions. Their main problem was that the advertising campaigns were just too costly and didn't really do much to grow the number of donors. That's why we added the map and alerts, which would actually cost way, way less. We also learned that hospitals worldwide have troubles keeping up their blood banks because almost half the population doesn't know the importance of blood donations and fears the process. That's why we also decided to implement the forum section so that more and more people could get to know more about the process by voicing their fears and getting in touch with actual medical professionals.
Great. I like how you really tried to understand the users and talking to people who worked in the hospitals, and then tried to figure out what features would best suit that. So for all the features that you implemented in your app, what would you say was the most challenging one to implement?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Amar. Hello, Kat. Well, the most challenging, I would say, part was the implementation of push notifications. We tried taking multiple approaches to it, seeing how we could build around Firebase cloud functions and cloud messaging to achieve our goal. Well, our goal was to target the notification as much as we could in order to avoid having the user receive information irrelevant to them. And also, we wanted to implement our filters in a way that is light on the user's device. And lastly, we actually found a balance between where our logic happens, and by iterating upon our previous solutions that we had, we came out with the end product.
Great. Is there anything anyone else wanted to add about what was challenging to implement?
Well, I could also add that we had some trouble using the geolocation parser because sometimes the hospitals would appear in a wrong location on the map, but eventually we settled on, like the API was right most of the time, so we settled on having the default geolocation API. But that wasn't something very major, I could say.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's always challenges along the way in building an app like this. So it's great that you pushed through and tried different approaches to come up with the solution you did. So great job again. And I also wanted to share like some other pointers that I had for you as well. I'd encourage you to check out the material design guidelines, to continue to iterate on the user interface for your app, just to, like, for example, how lists are shown, just little tweaks that you can make to make the app more cohesive. And by following the guidelines, it also makes it more cohesive to other apps and uses patterns that Android users are already familiar with. So I encourage you to check that out. And then, like you were doing with talking to folks from the hospital, I encourage you to do that some more and see what their workflow is like. Maybe they would like a web interface to access some of this information, post their events. And then lastly, thinking about your users, the blood donors, thinking about, whether they might want some settings too, because I noticed you have a leaderboard, they might want to maybe have an option where they can opt in or opt out for things like that in case they maybe don't want to share. But I think just continuing to build on the features and listening to your users, I think you're on a great path here. So is there, go ahead.
No. I just wanted to echo what you're saying. I think it's phenomenal. Like the idea of consistently speaking with users and really implementing what's going to drive impact. So Kat, thank you so much for those questions and the feedback. And BloodCall team, this was awesome. Thank you for your presentation and for this discussion. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Join me as we head over to Kenya and welcome the SaveONE Live team. This application helps donors locate and donate goods to orphanages in Kenya that are in need of basic items, food, clothing, and other educational resources. It's built with Android, Assistant/Actions on Google, Firebase, Google Cloud Platform, and Google Maps. Let's welcome the creators, Wycliffe, David, and Imelda from Taita Taveta University in Kenya.
Did you know there are about 153 million orphans worldwide?
According to Light Up Hope organization, the population of orphan children in Kenya is estimated to be 3 million in about 800 orphanages. With the death of their parents who are breadwinners, most children end up straining to access basic needs. Most of the registered 800 orphanages in Kenya depend on donors to provide the basic needs of these children. However, the orphanages shared how it was difficult for them to find donors to support them. Also, the donors have been having a hard time trying to locate the orphanages around them, especially those that are really in interior areas. That is where the SaveONE Life Android app comes in. It's an app built with Java and Google technology that helps donors to locate orphanages around them and ease in making of their donations from the comfort of their homes. Also, it makes it easier for orphanages to share their needs on the platform in order to get support from the donors. Our biggest desire is that orphan children will experience a normal life just as children who have found themselves in their families. On the orphanage registration page, orphanages can register and receive donations with ease. They fill in their personal and basic information required, and they can drag and drop to the exact location of the orphanage. On the home page, we have a tab layout with 3 screens. The first screen is the home screen, where the donor will navigate across different orphanages, where they can search the location and it will show those orphanages in the location. Or an item like clothing, and it can show the orphanages in need of clothing. And then they can open a detailed view and click the donation button and wait for a call from the orphanage. On the map view, donors will be able to navigate across all the orphanages on the map, click on one of them and get directions to the location. On the public forum screen, donors can add comments or reviews about the orphanage they are about to visit or they have visited before. And wow, it's done! Is that a new message? Make a donation and be the reason someone smiles today. Save one life.
And we're back with the whole SaveONE Life team and Kat Kwan from the Android team. Before we dive into questions, I just really want to quickly say thank you all for engaging in the live chat right on YouTube and for sending questions into Slido. It's been awesome seeing how much discussion's going on about these incredible projects. And I'm excited to see what everyone thinks of SaveONE Life. So Kat, how are you doing? I'm excited to hear your questions.
Good, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, SaveONE Life team. I'm Kat Kwan from the Android Developer Relations team, and I have a couple questions that I wanted to ask you and also share some feedback too. So to dive into the first question, I want to ask you, when you were building your app, was there ever a time you faced a difficult technical decision, and how did you overcome that?
Thank you so much for your question, Kat. Indeed, we faced a difficult technical decision at some point. So the first one that we actually faced was our initial idea was that when someone logged in into our initial version of the app, they could have all the orphanages being listed, all the orphanages that were registered. But then after the user research and the users testing our application, we realized that they complained it was a little bit bulky and overwhelming and a bit confusing for them. So we had to work on that, and therefore we decided to just filter the list for them and display the first 20 orphanages around their location. However, they could still view the other orphanages from our search option. Then the second technical decision that we faced was that in our initial idea, we wanted to include global payment mediums like Stripe and PayPal to make it easier for donors everywhere to donate the funds, However, after talking to the orphanages around, getting to know what our users are comfortable with and what's convenient for them, we found out that it wasn't possible for them to access this payment mediums because most of the orphanages are local and are not well acquainted with these payment methods. So we decided to incorporate the easiest option for them, which is transferring funds through their orphanage bank accounts, and also including M-Pesa, which is very popular and convenient in Kenya and East Africa. And it also has the global pay option by integrating PayPal, making it easier for donors outside the country to donate. Yeah.
Great. I like your approach to solving these challenges. And it's always funny when you think the user is going to respond a certain way and then you find out differently and then you adapt from it. But I think that's great that you're learning that and applying those skills. Anyone else want to share anything else about that? Otherwise, I can dive into the next question. All right. So the next question that I wanted to ask you is about the donors in your app. How do you encourage them? How do you motivate them to donate and then encourage them to continue to continue donating as well?
Hello, Kat. Thank you for your question. Firstly, if a donor install the app and they happen to visit a certain location where there is an orphanage, the app detects their location and send them a notification on what the orphanage might be requiring. That is, if an orphanage is in need of clothing, foodstuff, and education materials. So, and alongside this, if a donor has ever donated to a certain home orphanage before, there will be a notification pop-up to the donor mobile phone informing them of what the home orphanage is in need of at a certain time and how they could help them elevate the accommodation. Secondly, we will have a blog page whereby we will be uploading photos, creating videos, and sharing some short stories of the kids' testimonials on how they have benefited from the donation made by donors. And on this page, and highlights of what has been made possible through donation. Also, we'll be able to appreciate our committed donors on this blog page. This will definitely motivate them to keep touching lives of the young generation. Those are some of the app functionalities that will motivate donors to keep touching lives. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you. And I like how it's like a multi-pronged approach to really encourage donors to continue being involved and contributing. And I think that's an important part to be able to see their impact, and that kind of encourages them some more. So great ideas. Is there anything else you wanted to share? All right, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Kat. Thank you for giving us this chance to just share. This idea came up while you were in campus. So we saw how our fellow colleagues were struggling to just share what they had extra after the semester is over. Some of them had outgrown clothes, some of them had extra food. So they didn't know where to take these things, and they kept on asking, where could we take these things? So we wanted to make it easier for them, and also for these things not to go to waste, but offer them to people who are in need of them. So it's something that just is in us, something that we love doing and something that we have enjoyed doing. And we definitely look forward to seeing it grow and become something that could help people all over the world. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's so clear how impact driven your team is just based on that response and of your responses and this project. I think that is phenomenal. And on top of that, your use of technology here is incredible. So once again, I want to thank you so much for answering our questions today. Kat, thank you so much for your expertise and everything that you brought to this conversation. So SaveONE Life, thank you. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm getting absolutely inspired right now by all of these projects, and there's such an amazing work on display. I wanted to talk about Xtrinsic from Germany. This project actually represents a cross-country collaboration with a teammate from Ukraine, showcasing a special way to support those impacted by the ongoing conflict in that region. This application is a tool for mental health research and therapy. It adapts to your environment. It adapts your environment to your personal habits and needs. Using a wearable device and TensorFlow, the team aims to detect and help users get through their struggles throughout the day and at night with behavioral suggestions. So please let's welcome Alexander Cicordili, Emma Bandisch from the Faculty of Engineering, Albert-Ludwigs-Universität Freiburg in Germany.
Stress, anxiety, nightmares, trouble getting out of bed, and many other negative events can make us so vulnerable that we might not be able to find the required internal motivation to overcome them. Studies show that an extrinsic factor, like if the lights turn blue or our favorite song gets played, can interrupt a stress event and drastically accelerate the relaxation process.
Consulting with a group of psychologists and cooperating with the Stiller project, we created an app for Android and Wear OS called Xtrinsic. This app works with a smartwatch equipped with Google Health Services. Using Stiller algorithms powered by the Google Machine Learning Kit, we use the health data to help detect negative events, which then automatically triggers an action by the Google Assistant that would then create a relaxing environment preset or predefined by the user.
Many refugees who experienced a traumatic event suffer from sleep disorder and nightmares. The user can activate the nightmare detection in the app and select his favorite song or music before falling asleep. The nightmare detection monitors the sleep cycle, activity, and stress level of the user during his sleep.
Once the physiological symptoms of having a nightmare are detected by the app, a command would be sent automatically to the Google Assistant to play the relaxing music, which would act as an extrinsic factor to interrupt the nightmare experience and help the user have a better sleep, which would improve his general health. On the next day, the user can rate his sleeping experience to track his improvement. He also has the possibility to share his sleeping data with his doctor or therapist. We are in contact with other projects and institutions to help improve existing features and develop new ones. We truly believe that wearable devices with the help of Google products can make a positive impact on mental health therapy. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with the members of Team Xtrinsic, and to lead our conversation, I'm very excited to introduce you to Errol King from Google Creative Lab. Hey, Errol, how are you doing?
What's up? Pleasure to be here. I'm on team. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm Errol King. I'm a technologist at the Google Creative Lab based in New York. Experiments, this is what I do. I experiment with emerging Google technologies and research and try to bring them to users, much in a way that you all have done. Can I jump right in, Armin?
Absolutely, let's do it, yeah.
So project is really cool. I love the concept. You know, the thing of science fiction, the connecting of these various tools and that the way it interweaves into our lives. So I'm very fascinated by this UX pattern and potential. Also the timeliness, using this technology in the context of Ukraine and that story and narrative, I think is very powerful. It's the type of stuff that we need to be doing. So really cool stuff. I had two questions. First question, what was your approach to building an accurate detection model? What tools did you use? What data did you use? I think this is the backbone of your project, so I'm curious to kind of hear more about it.
Hi, Errol. Thanks for the question. So as you know, the first step in building a machine learning model is to consult with the domain experts. So regarding the nightmare detection feature, we got the feedback that nightmares happen during the rapid eye movement phase, sleeping phase. And when they do happen, our stress level goes very high. So to build our model, we needed two types of data. We built the model using TensorFlow on Android devices, and we got the sleep cycle, like a very reliable source for the sleep cycle from the Google Health API. And for the stress level, we got it from the Stella project, a former winner of an Android challenge from 2020. So we combined that and we built the model. And to test it, we looked for people who are mostly in need for that technology. And that's where my teammate Katarina can expand on that.
So thanks. Since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, many people suffered from nightmares. To validate our project, we are planning to do a clinical study with the University of Kyiv to help as many people as possible. Thanks.
Very cool. I love the use of data, the use of expertise. Recycling, technology that has been recently found. It's a great play. You zeroed in on a particular use case. Obviously, this UX pattern, this technology has wider application. So, what other ways have you all thought about that this technology could be used?
Thank you for your question. Based on my experience as a trainee in a clinical institute, I am convinced that this technology could also be very helpful, for example, for people with bipolar disorder. The smartwatch can monitor the manic and the depressive phases, which are characteristic for this disease, and therefore help the patient to recognize the current phase they're in and to react appropriately to it. Fabian can now explain our next steps to you.
We believe this technology, in combination with IoT and smart devices like the smartwatch, smart mirror, or smart window blinds, can help make a positive impact on mental health research and therapy. So with this, we're planning to actually offer our technology on Xtrinsic.de as like an open platform where various research institutions, universities, and people in need also could go on in order to carry out clinical studies for various mental health issues. And this could help pave the way for various forms of interventions across the medical field. Thank you.
Very cool, very cool. Well, this is, the work is really exciting, and the idea of adding new devices that could kind of like make this network or experience rich, I think is beautiful. And there's obviously tons of various needs that we all have as we go through our days and managing various types of stress and experiences. So great work, everyone. It's really, it's good stuff. Armand.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I think it's really true. And Errol and I talked about this offline about how you're using research to bring that in and mix it together with a bunch of these Google technologies to drive this impact. And that takes a bunch of learning. And really, that's like what we're all here for, right? Learn, build cool stuff, and drive impact. So that's really, really cool to see. Team Xtrinsic, really appreciate your time. Errol, stick around. We have Team SIGNify coming up. But for now, Xtrinsic, thank you.
We are headed back to Canada, and I'm happy to introduce the team from SIGNify, a project that provides an interface where deaf and non-deaf people can easily understand sign language through a graphical context. It leverages Android, Firebase, Flutter, Google Cloud Platform, and TensorFlow. Let's meet Mitesh, Kavya, Vental, and Milan from the University of Toronto, Mississauga in Canada.
Today we'll be introducing our project, SIGNify, as part of DSC community project. We are students from the University of Toronto, and our mission is to bring people closer together.
According to accessibility.com, less than 1% of them in the US use sign language, and this leads to a communication barrier for the other 99%. The following demo shows a sign language user trying to find a specific item in the grocery store.
Hi, welcome to Walmart. How may I help you today? Water? Juice? Coffee? Oh, do you speak the American Sign Language? Oh, okay. Is it okay if I can use SIGNify to record you so that we can communicate better? Great! Oh, you want pop? It's in aisle 12. Have a good day.
In the settings page, they can switch between light and dark theme, change the font size, see different color themes. Using the feedback that we got from Google mentors, we're able to add new features such as providing direct access to the camera page for better engagement, allowing recording from both front and back camera, and finally providing visible feedback when translating signs from confidence scores to the different colors of the square.
So we developed the app on Flutter and we used the app engine to host our server. TensorFlow was used to run the ML model that was created on Google Colab, and we're using Firebase authentication as well as database.
Using Google features, we're able to interpret sign language in real time in text and speech format, convey ideas, and provide easier translation for deaf people into workplace, and provide accessibility features.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with the members of Team SIGNify. And once again, welcome back, Errol King. Errol, could you reintroduce yourself just in case anybody is just joining us?
Happy to. Hey, I'm Ron. Good to see you again in team. So I'm a technologist at the Google Creative Lab based in New York. My job is to build experiments using emerging Google technologies and research. And so this type of experimentation that you've all done is very much up my alley. I really love this concept. I think using technology to help people communicate is powerful. I mean, it's one of the great unlocks that technology has for us. Translate and to be able to bring that to embodied language, such as sign language, is powerful to help a community. Sign language is tough. It's very challenging. I've done some of my own experimentations in this space, and getting the model right to get into the nuances is always a fun challenge. And so with this, I'm sure there were lots of learnings. I'm curious for the team. What unexpected learnings did you run into or come out with as a result of working on the project? I'm sure it was rich.
Thank you for the question, Errol. SIGNify has been a great learning experience for us. Being 4 computer science students, our initial goal was to learn how to use new technologies while creating a project. After working on SIGNify, we definitely gained immense technical knowledge and experience working in Flutter, TensorFlow, and Flask. While testing the application with the accessibility groups in our university, we got feedback from people with hearing disabilities that SIGNify can make their lives easier. From being a project for 4 university students to actually making a difference, we realized that the power of a thought and the impact that anyone can have in the world. In the words of Miles Morales, anyone can wear a mask, even you.
Yeah, that's good. I think, Kavya, we're having some challenges hearing you, but
yeah. Does anybody else want to hop in or Kavya, could you try saying something one more time? No, it seems like the audio's cut out. Yeah, sorry about that. Errol, do you want to hop into your second question?
Yeah, sure. Awesome. By the way, love the Morales comment.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add on, like, another major lesson that we unexpectedly learned was that, like, user experience and accessibility is more important than a perfect technical solution. Sorry, Earl, I just wanted to highlight that point. And kind of going into details, after submitting our solution challenge, we got an opportunity to receive feedback from Google mentors. And this helped to understand the importance of having a smooth user experience. Although we had a functionally technical model, it would be useless if the users did not know how to successfully use the app. It helped us get a different perspective on the code development, which contrasted what we learned in university. And so throughout our 4-month journey in developing SIGNify, we learned that even a simple technical solution can make a big impact in everyone's life. And this solution challenge has actually inspired us as fresh graduates that we also have potential to solve real life problems in our communities. Thank you.
It's awesome. Yeah, and doing things in academic setting and bringing them to the real world with real users, it gets very messy and very surprising. And so, obviously adapting is critical there. To the next question. So this is obviously a deep space that can be explored. I'm curious, with more time, what would you all have focused on as your next step?
Thank you for your question. We believe that our app stores the potential of helping many deaf people worldwide communicate their thoughts and expressions. Given more time, we aim to extend this impact that our app has. We plan to integrate the ability for two-way learning into our app, which allows English speakers to learn sign language. Given a sentence, the app will be able to translate those words into sign language. Currently, our app only supports American Sign Language. However, there are around 300 different types of sign language in the world. Although we may not be able to support all of these, we definitely want to support the more common sign language, such as Indian Sign Language and Chinese Sign Language. To extend this point, our immediate next step would be to output translations in languages other than English.
Yeah, in addition to what Jason said, the pandemic has forced many of us to work from home, and large meetings continue to be held virtually. We would expand SIGNify by providing a plugin for video conferencing applications to promote inclusive communication online. We partner with local organizations throughout our application development to get user feedback. So with more time, our next step would be to expand our reach to even larger organizations, such as the Ontario Association of the Deaf, as well as the Canadian Association of the Deaf. Finally, we would improve our machine learning model to be at least 95% accurate, so users can have even more confidence in our translations. Currently, the app can run offline and recognize signs with an accuracy of 90%, and we plan to integrate Google's MediaPipe hand recognition solutions for capturing dynamic gestures. This would enable us to promote quality education and reduce inequality on an even larger scale. Thank you.
Awesome. Next steps, improving platform accessibility, smart, expanding to new communities who are expressing sign language through different cultures and languages, smart, and obviously improving the model itself using the latest hand recognition is a great move as well. It's all wonderful next steps. Well, it's been a pleasure to get to look at these projects, in particular, this one, and you've done great work. You should be proud of yourself, and carry on, keep doing it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Errol. And with that, we're actually out of time for questions. Thank you, Team SIGNify, for joining us and for telling us a bit more about your project today. Thanks.
Yeah.
And that wraps up all of our demos for today. I don't know about all of you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now. And I want to take a moment to thank all of the teams who presented, all the judges who shared their expertise, and all of you for tuning in. We just watched 10 phenomenal demos. Which was your favorite? Which had the greatest impact or the coolest use of technology? Let us know by voting in the People's Choice Award. To do so, join us on Slido and look for the People's Choice Award room, where you'll be able to cast your vote for your favorite team. You only get to vote once, and we'll be closing the poll in 2 minutes. This will be your final chance to vote. So please head over to Slido and go for it. While you're voting, and before we announce the winners, we want to share with you a few tips from students on how to develop impactful projects. Hopefully this helps you out as you begin to develop your next project. By the way, are you going to join us for next year's solution challenge? I know I might be getting ahead of myself here, but in any case, these tips will be incredibly helpful. Let's see what a few of the top 10 students had to say about what helped them the most.
My advice to my fellow developers is, your solution doesn't have to be perfect. It's not only about the code, it's also about the impact.
Keep on learning new things, focus on fundamentals, and trust the process. Don't forget to have fun throughout your learning journey.
Get to work together with a target group. Get to consult them, get ideas from them.
Identify your audience and try to interact with them so you find best ways to serve them.
Keep communicating with your team members. Constantly communicate from start to finish. It will make your solution better.
Everything is available online for free. You can learn how to build anything you want. It's just a matter of time and commitment.
When you have an idea, please make sure to take the small first step. From those small steps, big things can be made.
Consider the skill sets of your team members before choosing your idea. It'll help maximize the potential of your project while also ensuring that you're not biting off more than you can chew.
Even if you think it's just a small idea, be confident and try to realize it, because in the end, it might actually be the one idea that can help people all over the world.
Solve local problems and never let that learning attitude go away.
No matter how impossible it seems to learn a new technology, you can learn it. It is learnable.
Instead of trying to do many things at once, think about doing one more thing.
Break down your project into smaller pieces and take it one piece at a time to avoid getting overwhelmed by the complexity of your project.
Be able to communicate with your whole team. Remember, you don't win individually, but as a team.
There's a lot of people willing to help because we're student and also learner. So just try it.
Don't forget to step away from developers' point of view and fully reflect mentors and users' feedback.
Already set a deadline to achieve your goals. Deadlines keep you from being lazy.
If you have the knowledge to build something, then you hold the power to bring a change.
Find your why. Before getting into developing, it is really important to figure out your purpose to help keep you going.
Have faith in the creative synergy between you and your teammates, and the end result will be just worth it.
Always believe in your idea, believe in your project, and believe in yourself.
Wow. I love those tips. So much good energy there. And you know what? I agree. It's important to never let that learning attitude go away, because your idea might be the one that can help people all over the world. And to me, that's so inspiring. Okay, the time has come. The judges have made their final decisions, and I can feel the anticipation, so I won't be keeping you waiting any longer. The judges have worked together to select 3 winners, and in no particular order, I'm going to present them to you right now. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The first of the final 3 winners of the Google Developer Student Club's 2022 Solution Challenge is, can I get a drum roll, please? GetWage. Your team used multiple Google technologies to build a solution for COVID-19. Your project was impactful, and you used technology in a creative way. Great job, and congratulations to Team GetWage. Moving on to the next of our final 3 winners. The winner is Blossom. Your team tackled a huge problem that's felt by billions of people around the world. And your solution incorporates technology in an incredibly unique way. I've started companies in the edtech sector myself, and I think it's amazing that you're using education to help young girls manage their menstrual cycles. Thank you, Team Blossom. And now, the final winning team for the 2022 Solution Challenge. The winner is Xtrinsic. You're using hardware, you're using machine learning, you're using modern mental health and therapy research. Your project is truly amazing. And it's so impressive how many different technologies and concepts you were able to juggle in pursuit of your mission. There we go. We got Team Xtrinsic on there. Thank you to teams GetWage, Blossom, and Xtrinsic. And to reward you for your amazing effort, we have prizes. Along with swag from Google, each student from the top 3 winning teams will be receiving a cash prize. Thank you again. And thanks to all of the teams who presented today. But that's not all. By now, You've all hopefully voted for the People's Choice Award. Voting is now locked, and it's time to reveal the winner. The winner of the People's Choice Award, selected by you, is Zero Zone. Your team was selected by all of our live viewers today because of your impact, technology, and amazing presentation. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to all of our teams, including those of you who won, those who've presented, and the hundreds of teams who submitted from around the globe. And lastly, let me say one more thing to you, our viewers. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us to cheer on these amazing teams. It's been a fun couple of hours. If you enjoyed the solution challenge, Google has 3 other coding competitions that run each year. They're called Kickstart, Hashcode, and CodeJam. You can find more information at g.co/coding competitions. Each of these competitions are a great way to develop your programming skills, meet developers from around the globe, and have fun while you're doing it. Best of all, they're all open to developers of all skill levels. The CodeJam and Hashcode seasons have ended for now, but they'll be back in 2023. But Kickstart still has rounds throughout the year. It's a great place to start if you're new to competitive programming. We encourage you to register today and try out any and all of their upcoming rounds at g.co/kickstart. Now, some final thoughts. If you haven't done so already, you can now claim your Google Developer Profile Badge for attending today by going to the link you see right here on the screen. And we're also posting a link in the YouTube chat now, which I think is that way. The badge is a great way to remember this experience, and I'd say it looks pretty cool too. And while we're on the topic of experience, I'm curious, what did you think of the event? We'd really appreciate it if you could leave us some feedback. Did you like the event? Dislike it? You have ideas? We want to hear from you. So please share your feedback by using this QR code or visiting the URL on the screen. Your feedback helps us improve. Lastly, if you'd like to learn more about joining a Google Developer Student Club at a university campus near you, go to goo.gle/GDSC. We hope the 2022 Solution Challenge has inspired each of you to keep finding ways we can use technology for good. That's all from us. We're excited to see you next year. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.